It is my fervent wish to make these two countries great again. Just call me a hawk. Good evening, subscribers, fellow South Africans, family, friends, world at large, humanity. Before I begin today's video, please may I ask you to subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up for like, and the more likes, more views, ring the bell. The bell is there, the icon, so you're notified of upcoming videos. If the content of this video touches your soul, please share. The hawk gives you nothing but the truth, and the world needs the truth. Donations are greatly appreciated, as I'm using my own funds, but the donations are needed for many in South Africa of all races. Here's the donation link in blue. Please subscribe. Hit the link at the bottom in the description. Please note, I operate under the fair use and fair dealings guidelines. Any video clip, if any, have been found on public domain. A copyright link will be in the clip. Can be found in the description below. Please click on the link and enjoy the full video if mentioned in this video. All views expressed are purely my own and based on extensive research. I urge everybody to do their own research on the topic discussed in this video. All links are in the description below.
This is the Hawk. Good evening. I'm about to go on Outlaw Radio again with a gentleman from South Africa and Wild Billy. The gentleman's name is Jason Bartlett. He is trying to bring attention to the plight of South Africa, as we have been doing, and his plan is, if nothing's done by the end of December, 1st of January 2020, he wants to walk from Texas all the way to the White House, and along the way bring attention to the plight of South Africans in South Africa and what is happening to the minorities and the deliberate genocide that is taking place there, and the fact that the government and the rest of the world is silent. Here's the radio show. Don't forget, 16th of December. I'm calling on all people of all races to join us in the United South African Coalition to bring attention to the world that there is something terribly wrong in South Africa. Not only are the farmers being attacked, women are being raped at three a minute in South Africa. Little children are being kidnapped and held ransom or murdered for ransom. Every department in the government's corrupt. They're asking for international investments, but your investments are not safe. Your lives are not safe either. Nothing is held down, and the government's lost total control. The farmers are being persecuted, the whites are being persecuted, the minorities are being denied jobs. Listen to the show. This is just one of many to come.
United South Africa Coalition, that's USAC. Go to usac.center for more information. The songs you just heard Austin English with Crazy. Before that, Jack Barrow with Springbok Warriors. Before that, Austin English again with 7th Street. Before that, Eva Under Fire with The Strong. And topping off the whole set, Austin English with Getaway Car. But once again, a big shout out to Austin English. Thank you so much for joining the show. And now we've come to the point where, yes, my next guest is on standby, but really quick, I've got to reveal the Outlaw Radio Idiot of the Week. And ladies and gentlemen, this week, the Outlaw Radio Idiot of the Week hails from Romania. And if you're watching on the iVlog channel, you will see this dumbass and the dumbass look on his face. And you must be wondering, well, what did he do to earn the honor of being the Outlaw Radio Idiot of the Week? Well, this is from the son out of the UK. After drinking alcohol-based mouthwash, he plunged his 200 British pound Ford Mondeo into cars at a Land Rover dealership. The homeless Romanian was arrested and found to be twice the alcohol limit. Yes, sir. By the way, his name is Vasily Turkan. Hopefully I got that right. I'm not sure. Turkan admitted to causing 46,000 British pounds worth of damage and drunk driving at the site where he had worked near Stratford upon Avon Wharves. Judge Andrew Lockhart jailed him for a year at Warwick Crown Court. He said this was a revenge attack. What an idiot. Okay. Well, number one, don't drink and drive. Number two, don't get drunk and just blatantly cause vandalism. Anyway, like I said, my next guest is on standby, so let's go to the next portion of the show, Outlaw Radio Crime Stories.
The man's got a right to protect his property and his life.
Outlaw Radio Crime Stories.
And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I am joined by, of course, Craig the Hawk Montgomery, who wanted to be a part of this particular segment. Craig, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right. And our main guest, his name, Jason Bartlett. He's somebody else today must be a Texas episode because my last guest was in Texas. Well, Jason is in Texas, originally from South Africa. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Very well, thanks yourself. Thanks for your time and your awareness that you're bringing to the world.
Absolutely. Now, where I found out where I caught your name was a tweet that you put on Twitter that went viral about I believe it was your cousin, correct me if I'm wrong, was a victim of a farm attack in South Africa. Am I correct?
Yes, just outside of Pretoria, he was brutally attacked for the color of his skin at 11 o'clock at night. Wearing a Born in Africa shirt, he was brutally attacked, strangled, shot in the back of the head, and it came out the front of the eye. And then he was just after they said the white bastard is dead, they decided to burn him with the grill before they went for the rest of the family.
And he survived the attack, did he not?
Yes, he did survive the attack. One of the few actual survivors. Normally they torture them for hours and hours on end and drill their skulls and drill their arms and rape them. Fortunately, he was not raped, but many, many other horrific things happened to them.
Wow.
It's nothing new. This happens daily.
Yeah. It's like we've heard these stories before, obviously, and the things that I've read in the book from Ernst Roots. Some of the things I've read in that book, just reading about it made the hair on my back stand up, made my blood boil, and made me want to go over there and start whooping somebody. Pure, just over for the color of their skin. It wasn't tolerable when it was done to black people. Why should it be tolerable now?
It's because the president of South Africa, who should be your permanent idiot of the week, is permanently just going on and inciting violence against our people and supporting their EFF with Julius Malema, the fool of the week. Oh yeah, in between him and then of course Andile Ntama, who's saying, well, you have Julius Malema on one hand who's saying, oh, we're not calling for the slaughter of white people for now. Then you have Andile Ntama saying for every one black person they kill, we kill 5 white people. So we have those two retards, and the situation is getting worse. Then on the other hand, you have President Cyril Ramaphosa saying, "Oh, this is not happening. There are no land grabs. There's no murders of white farmers. Please, though you can't make this stuff up.
No, you really can't. What happens is then they come out, and I challenge Cyril Ramaphosa. I know he's extremely incompetent in everything he does, like the rest of the people that follow him and support him. I just want to challenge him to prove me wrong and prove every single South African out there wrong.
Prove me wrong for reporting this.
Exactly. It's vile and horrific. They go and they meticulously plan these attacks. They find out where they are, they follow them for weeks, and they do not get investigated, and nothing gets said. It gets swept under the media. The media can pick it up and take it however they belittle us. They have taken the Afrikaner and the white English, and they have dehumanized them, and they do it meticulously on every single rally that they are at, and then they blatantly deny it, and what does the world say? Nothing.
No, it's like the world turns a blind eye. You know, if you ever watched South Park, which I really don't watch South Park anymore, but you think to that police officer in South Park, Officer Barbrady, who's a complete, total, incompetent fool who stands in front of everybody and says, "Go home, nothing to see here, blah, blah, blah." That's exactly what they're doing.
That is our reality. Every single day, you've got a target painted on your back specifically for the color, specifically because of your skin color.
Hawk, I know you have questions. I haven't really given you much of a chance to speak yet. So.
Yeah, in 1993, the ANC originally planned this. There's a document out, and I'll send it to you, Jason. This is a systematic, deliberate persecution of the whites. The document states they will boil the whites like a frog in hot water. They do not know they're being boiled to death. What they don't realize is the whites have climbed out the pot. And as far as I'm concerned, the Ramaphosa has no power. From what I'm hearing from inside the government, Ramaphosa has been held ransom. The unions are holding him ransom. The South African Communist Party is holding him ransom. He has no power. He can talk a big talk, but he's literally powerless. He's standing there and waffling and waffling and waffling, knowing he's got a gun against his head. He's literally powerless. And that's coming from inside the government. And that's coming from people I know, who I trust, who are telling me directly that this guy has no power. He's literally stuck with his thumb up his butt. He can't do a thing. He's talking about, I want investments, there's no crime. He's trying to cover this all up. But he's literally lying because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's got nowhere to go. And the same with Prince Harry and all of them coming there the other day, and Meghan Markle. It was just a publicity show to cover up what's really going on.
Yeah, no, they are. Both those people are also cowards as well. They
Exactly.
come and lie there, and they actually forsaken all the people, the English, the British, as well as the people from in Netherlands now have forsaken both of their people. They've abandoned them and left them to rot.
Exactly. And here's the thing. These cowards could have stood up and said something, and I said it as much. I made like 6 videos, well, maybe even more, while they were there, saying, Prince Harry, stand up and be a man and tell the world what's really going on. Same with Ramaphosa. Stand up, be a man. Stop being a coward. And these guys know what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. Henry Kissinger just arrived there, the kiss of death. This guy, a 90-year-old evil mother fumigation, is standing there. He did the same thing in Zimbabwe, and the place turned to crap. And now we're having the same problem again. You got Soros there as well, who's the #1 enemy of Russia. You've got Microsoft. What's his name? What's a guy from Microsoft, the owner of Microsoft?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is there with his wife,
Yes.
and they're walking around Khayelitsha right after Prince Harry and them were there, walking around Khayelitsha talking about production on farms and stuff. And I sent him an email on LinkedIn saying, Why aren't you saying something? You know there's massive crime. The UN came out the other day saying, and this is stats from 2012, not 2019, 2012, and it was on Al Jazeera the other day as well. They confronted an ANC member, during the Oxford discussions, and they said, "Did you know that South Africa has 500,000 murders, highest murder rate in the world since 1994, 1 million rapes of women, one farmer dies on an average a week."
In America that fight for women's rights, where are they now? Why aren't they standing up for the women in South Africa?
1 million women are raped in South Africa since 1994, and there's an average of 3 women are raped every minute now.
You know, it's just like anybody who totes Old Glory, the red, white, and blue anymore, is a racist, a homophobe, bigot, is a gun-toting, and a religious fanatic at that. So, yeah. But then you have radical Islam, religious fanatic. Let's add that in there. Gun-toting, proud of what they do, but nobody criticizes that.
Here's a statistic for you.
Look at South Africa. We are some of the best dry land farmers in the world. By giving us shelter and cover and letting us into the country, we would not only add jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs, we would add to the economy. We are, the backbone of America is Christians, right? We are God-fearing Christians. We would come here and we would serve your constitution, we would be law-abiding as citizens, and we would serve your president, and we would serve the country, whether it is the military or feeding them. And it's not just the farmers, it's boiled over to every single person of our cover. They are going for us and they are not keeping quiet, and Ramaphosa and those people are purposely hiding it. And I'm calling them out. It's a call to action to the United States to help us. They help countless countries with opposite religions, but here is a country that has got the religion and the same foundations and morals that the entire United States has, the backbone of the United States. And we should be let in, and we should be let to help feed the nation so we can protect ourselves against the radical Islam and against the ones that want us to be defeated.
Here's another thing, a statistic for you. There are 46 ISIS camps, Hamas, Al-Qaeda camps in South Africa. That's a fact. I also know of camps in the northern regions of Mozambique. Here's another fact that nobody knows. South Africa is buying oil directly from Iran. They're also supplying Iran diesel. This is in violations of sanction laws. They also supplied Iran 13 tons of gold. The minute sanctions were put on Iran, they violated these sanction laws. These are facts. Iran,
definitely.
They do not like the United States. They also threatened to attack the United States through Venezuela, and that came from the Venezuelan embassy. The South African embassy in Venezuela threatened to use the South African military against the United States, which is an absolute joke because it lasts probably about 6 hours.
You know, here's the interesting fact to me is my old buddy Clay Douglas brought this up to me back in 2011, is the people in America they're going to go after, and the first thing he said was the farmers. They're going to go after the farmers. The government, the communist regime, New World Order, wants to go after the farmers because, you know, they want to have a government that the people think that they can rely on, which is the biggest joke right there. So they can't have a farmer because a farmer is self-sufficient. A farmer doesn't need to rely on the government. The farmer can raise his own beef. Farmer can grow his own crops, and even if it comes to that, a farmer also has the skills with a rifle to go out and hunt. That's somebody who can live off the land is something the government doesn't want. So that's the first thing they're going to get rid of is the farmers. Then they go after those who are faithful to the old regime. Yeah.
But you take a look at it, this ANC have in 25 years have managed to put Eskom in 450 billion rands worth of debt. They've taken SAA and they have wrecked it. The educational system is completely bankrupt. Each and every town is completely bankrupt. My parents, back when they lived, sit with 5-6 days with no electricity, with no running water, because it's not maintained. They have just wrecked everything. They have broken the spine of South Africa, but they have not broken our spirit. Our people are hard people. They are very hard people, and they've been hurt and they've been damaged. But there comes a time when you put someone in a corner, and what must he do? He must either stand up and represent himself, or he must succumb to the evil. And that time has now come, the time for the people to react and actually stand up and say who they always were and say who they are and do something about this. And that's why I'm doing this long walk. It's not for my personal acquirements or fame. Do you think I want to walk in the midst of winter? But no, the crisis is now and it needs to end now. And I'm calling action to the United States and you beautiful people so you can come and help us.
Yes, I agree.
And it needs to happen. It really
needs
does.
to happen now.
Yeah, innocent people are dying as we speak. Families.
Yes, last night another one was murdered.
Yeah.
And the night before that, 2 were murdered. In fact, I don't even have the stats with me now for November because there's been more than 1 attack a day, every day this month. From the 1st of January until the end of October, 387 attacks and 43 known murders. How many reports do you think we get around the world? 0. Because they are parasitic and they hide them away. They are evil in what they do and they should be called out for every single thing they do. They come and parade around in New York. These people of South Africa, the presidency and the ANC are your arch enemies. I promise you they will turn and they will fight against America. They are your enemies. Do not trust them. They will shoot you in the back.
I agree.
I agree 100%.
And here's the thing. I would like to challenge, or here personally I'd like to challenge Al Sharpton to a debate after he went on CNN and said only 2 white people were killed in South Africa. What is everybody worried about? And it's just a bunch of white right-wing activists trying to create apartheid again. The deliberate racism of CNN. And CNN is the main source of information in South Africa from the United States, which attacks the President of the United States constantly. That some of white South Africans are there actually believe the BS. And what they don't realize is that there's far more to this than they realize, that what's really going on and who's behind the scenes and what's actually happening and what the United States actually feels about them. And believe me, I can't tell you much more than that, but there's a different story there.
It's just mind-boggling the whole way. You know, these plus other things that they just sweep under the rug. You know, the sex trafficking that I was discussing last week with Craig Sawyer. You know, that people are being abducted and used for sex trafficking, particularly young girls. Mm-hmm. And then you have, I know I'm shifting things a little in a few different directions, but then you have the LBGT trying to bring pedophiles into their organizations as if it's one thing to accept gay people. You know, they are people and I support their rights as well. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that pedophiles, what do? They harm a child, mentally scar them, and physically scar them, and all of a sudden, this is supposed to be okay, this is supposed to be acceptable. What's next? Are they going to pass some kind of law to make pedophilia legal, like it is in some parts of the Middle East? Come on, this is insanity.
It is insanity. Look what's happening in South Africa. Go to look at the fact of how many infants, not little girls, infants, listen to my words, infants that are raped under 24 months here, 24 months old, and they get raped.
Because
not by one person, countless people, but nothing gets to the news. How did the raping of an infant not get to the news?
Because of the witch doctors saying that they can remove AIDS by sleeping with a virgin.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to say as well. Yeah, exactly. That's what they are, and that's what this Ramaphosa, and that's what they stand for. Now, I clearly do not think that every single black person is like that. In South Africa, there are thousands of black people that could run that country very swiftly, that I would stand and be proud to call them my president. But those very people running that country right now, that is the only way you can actually correct that country. There is no remedy for South Africa. The only remedy is a complete revamp of that entire structure. They have crippled everything. We have no more, our gold is too deep, our diamonds are too deep, we've got nothing to offer the world, hence the reason that nobody's helping us out. And they are hiding the genocide, and it's not just the farmer, it is every single white person that is out there. Now, you also have white people that are completely against their own people, and they are part of the problem. But you know what? When all the farmers are out, they can starve along with the people that they support.
Exactly.
Who feeds them.
There will be a reckoning, I promise you.
Absolutely.
There will be, and I really am calling out Cyril Ramaphosa and that little, what's that little thing that barks in the wind, that Julius Malema, yes, that little thing that barks in the air the whole time. I'm calling them out because they are not men, they are cowards. They are cowards and they are liars.
Let me tell you something about Malema. Malema is a plant. He was funded directly from Britain. You'll notice that he goes to Britain quite often. His handler is in London. He is funded by British people that are there. That's why the royal family came there the other day. Please don't be fooled by what's really going on. They are the ANC. This is just, these are the ANC, believe me, I know. And what is happening is they're getting funded by Britain. Britain is deliberate. I don't know if you noticed what he kept saying when Prince Harry came there. He kept saying the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth. You'll notice why he kept saying it. He wasn't saying, at first it was just a little family come to Africa to show my baby off, right? But it turned out to be the Commonwealth. He kept saying it. There's something underhanded going on there. And listen, you explain to me why every single president of South Africa, once elected, within a month has to go kneel before the Queen. Well, go find out. I'm not bullshitting you. You go see for yourself. I ain't joking. Yeah. This whole thing is orchestrated. It's been orchestrated from the beginning. Now, in 1990, when Mandela was released, there was a meeting of, I think it was 16 people at Harry Oppenheimer's house. And it got stupid after a while. So they decided to move them out. And they took them to buildings in Johannesburg. And there was 16. It was 8 on the ANC side and 8 businessmen. Part of them there was Anton Rupert, Harry Oppenheimer, and the rest of them. And they wanted to get a loan from the IMF for $50 billion to get South Africa back on its feet. And they told the ANC, you ain't going to play the communist role, you're going to do what we tell you. Well, they all said yes, 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 but they didn't realize what was sitting across from the table was a bunch of thieves who have no conscience, who don't give a damn, and they had another plan in their hand. They said, yes, yes, we'll do that, just give us the money. Since 1994, the whole thing's a lie. The whole thing's a con.
No, for sure. I mean, you can see that there's something wrong when people are paying more money to save the rhino than to save the farmer that helps the rhino.
And that's not helping very much because we already have species of rhinos that are already extinct due to the extensive poaching. And that's one other thing too, is the rhinos, the disappearance of the rhinos too, is another thing that I've heard people like Julius Malema blame on white people when, oh, they're honorary blacks. The Chinese are the ones who buy the horns to make their impotent medicine. That's obviously, I don't know where that comes from, but that's a bunch of BS right there.
Cyril Ramaphosa's son he's actually one of the biggest hunters of rhino and poaching in the whole country, and that's a fact. I got that from anti-poachers, that he's there deliberately hunting these things and sending the horns across the sea. These guys are all corrupt from the top to the bottom.
You see, but when is something going to happen? Because there's two things that need to happen in South Africa, and that's why I'm giving it until the 1st of January. If there's no action, I'm going to get onto my 2 full feet and I'm going to start walking. They need to give the farmer and the white people refuge in the United States, as well as to the ones that want to stay. I take my hats off to them because it's a hard time, but they deserve to stay there. It is their land, and the United States should send people in there. The same way that they send them to Syria and they send them to all these different places and go let their people die. They should go let people go there and fight for people like them who would defend them and not turn around and stab them. Because the people that in South Africa, their core backbone, they will stand alongside the United States of America. But that ANC government is an arch enemy of the United States.
It's a fact.
The ANC government is an arch enemy to society as a whole, and it's just sad that nobody can see that. You know, and also what I would recommend both of you guys, if you go to YouTube, there's a video of Julius Malema at Oxford University. He said something there that I found rather interesting. A student asked him, you know, about a little bit about Mandela's legacy, and Julius Malema said something I found to be quite interesting. He said that when Mandela got out of jail, he was too old to carry on and with what he used to do. Yeah, he was elderly by that time. I agree. So he left it to the younger generation to pick up where he left off. So what that tells me, what was Mandela in prison for to begin with? He filed the paperwork, set off a bunch of bombs that actually killed more black people than white. So he's got a lot of black blood on his hands that a lot of people still deny, or they don't know about it, or don't care. Whatever, take your pick. You know. So he left it for the younger generation to pick up where he left off, and they did.
Do you know that Julius Malema was brought up by Robert Mugabe?
I don't doubt it.
And look how they praise Robert Mugabe. They're praising him. He kicked most of my family out of Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. He kicked them out.
Yes, another thing you need to know.
Run from another country?
Yeah,
How many
listen.
countries do we have to run from?
Okay, listen to Malema speaking at that same Oxford thing, and he talks about these leaders that destroy their countries by being stuck there forever and ripping and raping and killing their own people. This same idiot is praising the biggest murderer of Africa. He was worse than the guy from Angola. No, Angola, from Nigeria.
Uganda. Yeah, can't remember the guy from Uganda that Forrest Whitaker played in a movie. Another tyrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if people want to see what Mandela's legacy left, it is now the 16th of November 2019. Go and Google what South Africa is looking like. That's what Mandela left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listen, I challenge every single political party in South Africa, every single political leader to meet me in international court and prove you came into South Africa prior to 1800s.
Yeah. William Bartlett of the 7th of January, 1820, he landed in Hout Bay in South Africa. That's my original family. That's the first Bartlett. He came on the James ship. He came there. And don't tell me I am not South African and I don't belong there. That is my home. I am born and bred there. That's the accent I've got. It's the heart I've got. It's the hard-headedness that I've got. And it's also the hard skin and the tough skin I've got. It's because I am South African. I'm more South African than any of those people over there, because they want, those Ramaphosa and those people, they want to annihilate and take it down. We want to help it and sustain it. You know, the farmers that are being murdered and kicked off their farms, you know, even that they know that they are going to be ripped apart and burnt and raped and all that, they still stay there. And the very black people that work with them on the farms, they try and teach them how to farm just in case. That's how much they love the land. They've got a passion for farming, a passion for that. And it's been stripped away from them. They've been dehumanized, and they need a voice. Those people need a voice.
Yes, most definitely.
Do you want to know why they attack the farmers? Why they want the farmers gone? Because during the Anglo-Boer War, 50,000 farmers, Boers, took on 500,000 British soldiers and kicked their damn asses.
Yep.
You know, and think back to that time too. You know, I gotta admit, I will say the Shaka Zulu was a monster. You know, he was a murderer, but at the same time, he was a brilliant tactician in the art of war.
Most certainly.
Yeah, and not only that, I respect the Zulu people for the fact that they're the only indigenous tribe I can think of that took on a massive army with only spears and little shields and whatever, and won. You know,
Yeah.
I respect them for that.
But you must also understand that very murderous way and barbaric way of life that they used to live, so much of that is still so visible now.
It's very prevalent.
Yes.
It has not been taken up.
It is so visible. Like the old British embassy, that's maybe where I come from 500 years ago and so forth and so forth, yes. But those people did not. They came there, they're there, and they're brutal and they're barbaric. Have you ever heard of necklacing?
Oh, how can I not have? I know
And
what
that's
you're
what
talking.
they do to their own people. Imagine what they will do to another person that they think is their enemy.
I know, yeah. And what was it? Winnie Mandela, she said, with our matches and our tires and our gasoline, we will liberate this country.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why my plea is out to, because I've got so much Dutch blood in me. I'm half Boer, I'm half German, I'm half English, I'm a South African. And that's why I am calling out the Afrikaner and the English. I'm asking them to stand with me and let's make it noise, let's make it sound. Are we going to sit back and just let everything that we fought for in the past, we're just going to let it rot away? And
Jason.
everybody says, okay, yeah, but it's already come so far. Yes, but are you going to let it get worse? We live in fear every day. The fences around my parents' house are 8 foot wide. There's 30 locks on the house. I mean, who lives like that? It's barbarians out there trying to eat us. They devour us.
Jason, I started the United South African Coalition, USAC, for that very reason. Because when I approached all the organizations, there were splinter groups of the Dutch and the English, the colored people and the Indians. And everybody's fighting each other. So because of the division and deliberate division of these people, and the spies inside and the traitors that have been selling the information to the ANC and others, you have no unity, and it's deliberate. It's conquer and divide. It's an old trick. And because of the hatred of each other, they cannot come together. They just cannot come together. So I started USAC, and I did that deliberately, because as much as we hate, the people hate the black people, and they say it's all their fault, I disagree. Because I can tell you for fact, I've been contacted by many black people saying, we're scared. We can't say anything. If we say anything, we get murdered. I know of ex-ANC people that have confronted the ANC and been shot the next day because they confronted them for corruption.
Yeah.
So I'm connected to a bunch of Khoisan people, Zulus, and these people from the ANC and all other groups who do not want this. And they are scared, but we need a voice. And the only voice that we're going to get power from is the United States. Because it's the only conscious idea that we have that's out there that could help us. But our problem is, the people that are insidiously controlling this whole media thing and think are there for one reason and one reason only. And that's to rape South Africa again. Because if you understand it, gold comes out of the ground for $100 an ounce, $100 an ounce. And they sell it for $1,400 on the market. They're going to deliberately keep their country in a mess. They're going to deliberately rape it till there's nothing left. They're going to lend them money like they're doing right now. And then when the time comes and they fail, they're going to say, well, you've defaulted, we own everything.
Yeah, no, I agree with most of that. I mean, I do understand, though, that we have to believe that our people, they've been hurt and they've been silenced, but they don't have to be silent forever.
No.
And that's why I'm going to walk to the White House, so that I can start getting the people behind me, because there's been countless activists, yet I don't see anything on the media ever. So what do we have to do? What do we have to do? I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to stand up for my people because you know what? For the last 25 years, I have just heard the whole time, one of us is going to stand up. We're going to stand up one day. We're going to stand up one day. And then I just said to myself, this was last Saturday, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I should just stand up because everybody's been telling me they're going to, but nobody's done it. So now I need to ask them to stand up and stand up behind me and follow me to the White House. Not physically, I'm walking alone in the winter. Follow me to the White House and let's go and talk. Let's go and talk, and I'll take them each and every single name of every single person murdered since 1984 and more. There's a genocide going on there, and it needs to end now. I'm calling out the people, the presidency of the United States, that they need to help us. These are your people. They're the same. We would add to the backbone, and we would help fight the big wave that is trying to defeat what's going on in this beautiful country.
Jason, here's something you can use. The Eli Wiesel law was passed by Trump the other day. It is actually a partisan law that was passed. It was actually introduced by the Democrats, and Trump signed it into law. It is the Anti-Genocide Act, which prevents genocide. Hence, because of the Hutus there was in what's the name of that country? Anyway, there was to prevent. Because listen, every time there's a genocide, it's after the fact people start screaming and shouting. This act was to prevent genocide. And Eli Wiesel was handed a prize back in the day. And what happened was, while they handed him the prize, he turned around and he said to Bill Clinton, what's the point? And he said this in public, so they couldn't shut him up. And he said, what's the point of giving me this prize while Bosnia is being slaughtered? While the Bosnians are being slaughtered in genocide. And it took 2 more years until Srebrenica that they did anything. 2 years they waited until these people were getting slaughtered every day before the United States did anything. That law was brought in to prevent genocide. Since 1994, over 70,000 white people have been murdered in South Africa. 70,000. A fact of fact, 1948, when apartheid was first introduced into South Africa, since then till 1994, only 21,000 people were murdered. That's including standard murder.
And I'm going to carry each and every single name, and I'm going to carry it straight to the White House, and I'm going to say to them, prove me wrong.
Well, I honestly hope, that you do, I know you don't want to make that walk, but at the same time, I think what's the word I'm looking for, but I think what you'll be doing will be for an admirable cause, and hopefully, you got to do something big. Sometimes talking isn't loud enough. Sometimes shouting isn't going to do enough. Sometimes you got to scream to get somebody's attention. And it's time to scream now.
Yeah. No, if they shall not hear us, then they shall see us.
Yes. I hate to say it, but we are definitely out of time for this segment. Jason, I want to thank you very much for your time here on the show. And Craig, thanks for joining as well. And I'd like to have you on sometime again in the future, Jason, for sure. And if you make this walk, I want you back here to talk about it for sure.
Most certainly, I definitely will make it. The grace of God will carry me. I'm going to glorify God and my people. Those people over in South Africa, the blood of the Afrikaner, whether you've got one drop of blood in it, they made an oath. They need to live to that oath. That's my call to action for them. Live to that oath, repent and turn to God and follow us. And let's go be heard and be seen, and let's stop this now. This doesn't help we wait 6 months to 2-3 years. This needs to end now. That's why I'm giving it until the 1st of January 2020. And then 8 a.m. from the Austin, Texas capital, the state capital, I'm going to walk from there all the way to the White House, and I will not stop until something is done.
Jason, USAC is having a rally on the 16th of December. You know what that day is, right?
Of course I do.
Okay, so on that day, we're having USAC Day as well. And on that day, over 6 cities have joined me. We've got banners, drone space. There's going to be massive rally with all the farmers. So just remember that day. And if you know anybody out there that wants to join, let them know. And I don't care who's
I will
involved.
never forget that day.
All right. Well, I've got to hit my next music set, but I want to thank both of you guys for joining the show. And
Thank you, Billy.
let's keep fighting this good fight, because now is not the time to stop.
Well, Billy, I also, every other person that owns a radio channel, I challenge them to give me a call and let's get the word out into every single American, and you'll see the true American come out and stand up for what they believe, because we believe the same thing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just come on my channel as well. Just call me Hawk on YouTube, and you'll see I'm constantly bringing out the news. Constant.
No, that's good. Keep it up.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Billy, and God bless.
Same to you.
Yeah, Billy.
All
Cheers.
right.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, all. Bye. Great.
Cheers.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the show. USAC and my channel, Just Call Me Hawk, will document the progress of Jason Bartlett. If he takes this walk, we will try and put together some kind of form of support while he's walking, and hopefully along the way we can get local TV stations involved and radio stations involved that can interview him on the way, and hopefully he can sign petitions that are electronic, so he doesn't have to carry paper with him, and you can sign the petition. It'll be generated somewhere, and we'll help him if we can and if he wants us to. So please support all the way. If anybody wants to get in touch with him, contact me and I will relay the message, and I'll let him contact you. Remember, South Africa is in desperate need of international help. As I said 3 years ago, we need to bring the world to the doorstep of South Africa. And now, time is of the essence, because there's no more time left. People are dying. 59 a day. It's terrible out there. And somebody has to say something. And I don't care who you are. Tell the world. Call everybody. Call newspapers. Call TV stations. Put it out on social media. Don't shut it up. Don't be scared. Stand up and be counted. It's time to stop this nonsense. We can only stop it if we all support each other. United. United. That's the only way to fight this thing. You have to unite. Put your differences away and unite and become strong. Be safe out there. I'm out of here. Don't forget, USAC Day, 16th of December. 25 years of nothing is nothing. Things need to change. 6 cities. This is the Hawk. I'm out of here. Don't forget to check if you're unsubscribed.